everybody, and welcome back to the Techegy podcast. This is Games of the Month, where we talk about
Woo.
games that we've played since the last time we were on here. So basically within the last month. So technically this will be for April, even though it is May. Guys, look who's back. Dre 2K.
Dre 2K.
Y2K. Dre 2K is back.
Hey, everybody.
He hasn't been here in I thought he was dead. I mean, I know I saw him posting, on social media and stuff, but I just assumed he was dead, and that was just like auto posts that he had set up. Seems like something he'd do, like he'd disappear and just set up auto posts. Anyways, Andres, welcome back. It's great to have you. We always like having you on. So what have you been playing?
I've been playing some Seafood and also the new Dead Rising 2. Not Dead Rising 2, but Dead Island 2. And I'm totally in love with Dead Island. I didn't think it would live up to the hype. It's been over, 10 years since the original one came out.
Yeah, it has, isn't it?
It's amazing, to be honest.
Was that for 360 or was the original one?
I think it was.
Or was it original?
It was 360. This
What
one,
are you playing it on?
I'm playing it on the Xbox Series X. The cool thing about it, though, most of your current games for the Xbox, they usually come with the Xbox One version as well. So that's a plus if you got an older system. But the game itself relies more on environmental damage and things of that nature. There'll be oil cans hanging around. You can set them on fire. There might be a tanker over there. You throw a dagger that you infuse with flames, and the whole thing will blow up, and you'll take out a whole group of zombies, and it's awesome. So a lot better than a sad game called Redfall.
Hey.
So yeah, not Dead. He wants to see Dead Rising now too, not Dead Rising, Dead Island 2. So I heard, I've seen pretty positive things about it. Is it true that it's more of, I haven't played it yet. Is it true that it's more of a hand-to-hand combat, with weapons kind of thing, rather than guns?
You come across a couple of guns, and for the most part, I hadn't run out of ammo. But then again, I prefer the melee portion a lot more than the gunplay. So
yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense though. If you get stranded on an island, what are the chances you're going to find a whole bunch of guns just laying around somewhere?
Well, actually, this one, even though it's Dead Island, it takes place in LA this time. So you got Venice
Wait,
Beach.
no, we can't. No, you can't call it Dead Island.
Was there an earthquake and now it's an island or what?
Did California break away?
It's funny. There are portions in there with earthquakes, and it's pretty crazy.
Wow.
No, it looked good, and
It did look good.
When I don't remember when the first one came out, but I remember getting it on the 360, and it's probably been longer than 10 years. It's probably been 13.
I want to say 2011, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right, because I think I don't know. It's been a while. Anyways. So what is seafood? Is that the not lobster and shrimp, but
no.
that is
it's actually a martial arts game.
It's the side view one.
Actually, it's 3D.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of something else then.
It's got one level that it kind of goes into you remember the 8-bit Nintendo Kung Fu game? Kind of goes into that type of level to where you're walking across. I think it might be a homage to that game. I'm not even sure. But it's an extremely difficult game. They punish you every time you die, you get older. So I'm on the first level and my guy's 55. He started out, he was 20 something. So, but yeah, it's a really fun game. Initially it came out on the PlayStation 5. It was exclusive to there. Then it came over to the Switch. Finally came to the Xbox, last month? Back in March. And the physical version just came out last week. Yeah. But it's a beautiful game as well. It's just overly difficult. So I found myself going back to Dead Island 2.
Yeah. So is the storyline in Dead Island 2 short? I think I remember hearing somebody said it was kind of short.
I've seen walkthroughs where it only takes most people 10 hours. I don't know if they're doing side quests, things of that nature. I'm taking my time with the game. Plus, I
Right.
suck anyway. So,
Well, yeah, if you're not trying to speed run it, then
I could join
Right.
that group.
But I will. It's nice sometimes though to play a game that's only 10 hours when they have all these games out now that are like 70 hours. You know, that
well,
take.
you spend $70 on a game nowadays. You want to get your money for it.
Well,
I
that's
know, but sometimes I don't know. I can't always do. I lose interest about halfway through. Some stuff. But anyways, so when you're done with Dead Island 2, what do you have on? You have anything on tap you're looking forward to, or
Looking forward to Street Fighter at the beginning of June, and
January.
Diablo 4. Both of those are dropping like the first week of June.
what was the last one you said? I didn't catch it.
Diablo 4.
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, well, you missed MC's experience with Diablo 4.
yeah. That was
beta.
nice.
Now,
gotta
are
get
y'all
back to
getting it on
the podcast.
PC or Xbox Series X? Or,
Xbox.
oh, you got a running, buddy, because that's what I'm getting it on. I'm
All
actually
right.
going to be doing the server stress test this weekend.
Yeah.
Coming up. Yeah, I got invited to that as well.
Yeah,
Yes.
I had problems, getting on and waiting to 40 minutes to connect and everything else.
Yeah.
It's in one of the podcasts. You'll have to go back and watch it. I told the whole story.
I
So
think
it
it's
was
the
like
last games of the month.
you were in a queue.
Well, that's at first I had to log in and it wouldn't take my old password.
Oh,
So that, and once I had to wait the 40 minutes in the queue to get to that point, and it didn't like it. So then I went and created an account, and it disconnected me, of course. So I created an account, and I had to wait another 40 minutes, and then it didn't like that password. Then I had to come log into my PC to get it to work. So I waited another 40 minutes. So I did it all evening. John was waiting for me. And all evening, I was working on trying to get connected.
And then he
by the
couldn't
time you got connected, the beta was over, right?
Well,
yeah,
I played the next day, and then the beta was over.
but
Yeah.
he couldn't get past the first dungeon boss when he got there. So
Oh, that's right. I got
Wow.
stuck with the first boss. So
Sounds like me with Aladdin on Shaq Fu.
then by the time I got to play again, it was over. So I never got to beat the first boss. So
Andre, you weren't a Redfall fan then.
Not really.
Yeah,
give it a couple of months. Let them patch it up. It might be okay.
So
That's-
I didn't read. I don't read reviews of stuff until I play because I try not to base. But I saw whatever reason there was a massive outpour of hate
Oh yeah.
on Reddit. It was everywhere. Like
Right.
it was on sites that aren't even like gaming news sites where
Like
people were
Forbes.
just-
It was
Yeah,
on Forbes.
like people were just dumping
Oh,
on
wow.
Redfall everywhere. But I think MC and I are going to talk about that too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I haven't played it yet, so when you guys talk about it, I do plan on trying it.
yeah,
Now, I
It's on
did
Game
hear
Pass.
that multiplayer wise, if you start off in multiplayer, you have to continue that story that way. So that might be something that they have to patch to where you can play the single player
Wow.
without having to start over. Yeah.
Sounds poopy.
I'm sure they'll pull the Cyberpunk and they'll be patching it 3 years later, and then it'll be playable.
well, I don't know if anyone saw the interview with oh my gosh, I'm forgetting his name.
Bill Murray.
Not Bill. What? Who'd you say? Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but they had an interview with Phil, right? Well, I'm drawing a blank.
Bill Spencer.
Yeah. He said they're gonna fix the game and continue to repair it, basically.
You know,
And
last time I heard something, I haven't seen that, but last time I heard, hey, we messed up, we're gonna fix it, was Halo Master Chief.
Yeah, well, they're gonna get it up to 60 frames, and they said, they're gonna continue to what do they call the games now where you continuously play? They're gonna make it a
sandbox, or
what's
like a Destiny.
like a Sea of Thieves or whatever, where you could they're gonna keep adding stuff. They said,
Okay.
they're not gonna let it die.
Like playability.
Yeah. So,
Cool.
but
They should have kept that one in the stove a little bit longer and let it finish
It
cooking.
was already a year late from what I understand. Yeah. Oh well. We'll let the two we'll let MC and JC talk about those.
Yeah, I'll bring it up. And
That'll be fun.
There's some stuff Digital Foundry said about it that is maybe some of the reasons there's issues with it too. So
I didn't read any of it. I can't read, so. Well, cool. So MM, what have you been up to?
I got that Evercade in, and I've got the two latest things for it. Let me put them up. I can keep the glare. This isn't the new Star Trek movies where you have the lens flare. I don't need it. But so the Commodore 64 2 collection, which is number 2 on the computer collection. The first one was a Commodore 64 1 was the one, and then the third one's going to end up being the Amiga one. And then the TOA Plan Arcade 2. So I've been playing these. This one has Twin Cobra on. I really like that game. It's a lot of fun. I like the older arcade games. In fact, that was one of those games where you actually had to turn the screen this way. You could play it because it was a what did they call it? Portrait style game. Yeah. Which that's one cool thing about the EXP is that it does do that. But like I said, I found this collection a lot of fun. Now, talking about retro stuff on the Commodore 64 collection too, this brought back some Coleco memories, actually. And I know this isn't a ColecoVision podcast, but Pit Stop 2 is on here. And Pit Stop 2 is one of my favorite games for the ColecoVision. It doesn't translate very well trying to play a computer game on a handheld. It was okay. I played it for a little bit. It was the steering on it was just, it wasn't like the old, joystick was on the ColecoVision. So it was not a great experience. Impossible Mission was 2 was on here, which is one of those games that everybody loved that one on the Commodore. It was not bad. I'm not a huge fan of the California games, the World games, all those that Epix did. They're on here, but I doubt I'll actually ever play them. I thought this right here was a mistype, but there's Mission Impossible, which I thought it was trying to say Mission Impossible, but it's Mission Impossible. I haven't played it yet. But I had to look that up. I'm going, that's got to be a typo or something. No, that actually was a game. Are you guys familiar with it?
I
think I've heard of the name.
What is it again?
Mission Impossible.
No.
Yeah.
Like bubble gum? Like bubble pop?
Yeah, no, it looked like I pulled it up and it looked like Bubble Bobble. Looked like one of those Bubble Bobble games. So
I think I heard it on YouTube on like one of them things that just shows you all the different games. I think I saw it on there. So.
No, I'll tell you, for $20, these are $20 a piece. If you get them right when they first come out, at least put the label side. When they first come out, they do get scalped as the time goes up because they get harder to get. But you get a lot of hit and misses with these. The Amiga one will be interesting because I don't remember any games I ever played on the Amiga. Now, I didn't have one at that time either. So it'd be very interesting to see, I could pull up what's on there, but those games don't mean anything to me. I have a good friend who had an Amiga. I'm going to hit him up, ask him what he thinks of the list. Hey, if you could pick 10 games for the Amiga, would these be the 10? And see what he has to say. But I'll buy it. This is one collection I am trying to get all the games for. I have them all except for the 2 that are coming out, I think, in June. And like I said, one of them is the Amiga, and the other one is one of the arcade packs. It's not Gremlin, but it's one of the ones. I think it starts with Galago. Galago. Yeah, we get with a G. It's not Jalico, but it's like Galaco. It looks the same to me. It's
Jalico.
That's it. It's like Coleco with a G.
Oh, okay.
Jalico. I know what you're talking about. It was a company.
Yeah, it was a company that made games back in the day.
Yeah, some of them not so great.
Yeah, some good. Yeah, that's kind of how these get. You get some games in here. There's a couple Probably wish I didn't yet, but it's $20. It's you're gonna blow that on beer or something. So anyways, that's my games of the month. Kind of for me, kind of tame. I haven't played much of the Xbox 360.
I never see you on anymore.
Yeah.
Well, it's because we're not playing anything together. I play that Red Robin or whatever.
We got all kinds of things to play together. You're just not on.
I still need to do the Halo Infinite co-op, so we need to get on and play that.
NC and I just did that.
We beat it.
And you didn't invite me.
We
Now
said
I know
we
how it
wanted
is.
to
I
do
know how it's. I know how you guys are rolling now. I know how you guys are rolling now.
All you have to do is message us when you're
I mean,
on. We'll let
I'll
you
do
know.
it.
You got to message me to get on.
I'll do it again.
Okay. Get me
We're
on
having a
Discord.
game night. That's what we're playing.
I thought we had Friday night game night. That's what me and John usually play.
Well,
Nobody
that's
ever
not
shows
right.
up.
I'm not doing anything this Friday, so
Yeah, if you're not doing anything this Friday, hit me on Discord. Say, Mike, get your ass in the game.
You should just know we're losers. We don't
Yeah,
do
we're
anything.
on. I just get on. He gets on. That's all.
Anyway,
You didn't invite me.
Usually after 8:00.
yeah. So I got a stack of games here. I'm gonna I lost one.
Uh-oh.
How did I lose
Hey,
How do
anyway?
you lose a game?
Oh, it's on the floor. It slid on the floor.
As long as the dog doesn't pee on it, you'll be okay.
Okay. I'm back. All right. So first one I'm going to talk about, obviously, Resident Evil 4 on the PS5.
Woo-hoo.
Played through it, beat it, was obsessed with it, just like I was when I played it originally back on the GameCube. However many years ago, 15, maybe more years ago, probably like 20. Awesome. It's not it's a remake, but it's not a complete identical remake. Things are different. Like if you're going in trying to follow a walkthrough from the original title, it's not going to be the same. There's some different stuff. There's a lot of replayability. There's different things you can unlock, just like the original one. Highly recommend it. It's honestly, it's worth the full price. If you can pick that up. Second one, also PS5 game, is the Scars Above. Kind of hard to see, sorry. There you go, Scars Above. So this is a first-person shooter that's set on like an alien planet that has like some kind of witchcraft enemies. Like there are, I don't know how to describe it. There are things with antlers and big claws and other weird monsters, like things that you would see in a game about, I don't know, witchcraft. That's what I associate with like it's paganism, some kind of weird pagan things going on here. Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's as close as I can describe it. Like some really ancient enemies of some sort on different planet. But anyways, it's basically the Dark Souls of shooter games.
Huh.
And I mean that because it's very difficult. One, you really got to plan stuff out. You can't just go in and start blasting.
Oh, Andre and I are out.
yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm not saying you have to sit there and strategize everything. You can brute force stuff, but like you got to be ready because these monsters hit and they hit hard. They don't just stand there and are bullet sponges. They're coming at you, and you need to dodge and duck and roll while you're shooting and doing the stuff. So it's not like you're playing Doom. We're running through just rip and tear until it's done. This is more like rip and tear and then cry a little bit and then duck and roll and hope you live.
I'm glad you told me that because I was looking at that on Xbox. Maybe I won't get.
I think it's $30 on Amazon, maybe 40. I think it's 40. It's $39.99. It wasn't even a full price game, but I think it's an A+ title. I think I like it. I've been enjoying it. I haven't finished it yet. It's
Is it better than Red Robin or Red whatever? What is the name of that game?
Yes, Redfall.
Redfall.
Red Robin.
Yeah, so I'll talk about Red. So I do recommend that. It's like $40. I think I paid for it.
That's not bad.
Yeah, and that was a release. It just came out like some weeks ago, a month ago maybe. Anyway, so let's talk about Redfall real quick. So I didn't read any of the hate. I knew it was out there. I saw the headlines. I just refused because it seems like it seemed coordinated a little bit to me. Like it was just all the different news sites, which all news sites do this. They repost the same things. They just copy and paste from each other. And that's what it was. It was just this massive dump of the same article posted under different sites.
Oh, yeah.
So I ignored it and I played it. And I've been playing it the last couple nights, since it's come out. And at first, I was annoyed with some things. You have to completely go in and change the controls, at least on the Xbox. If not, the right stick sends you flying around in circles by barely touching it. There's a couple other things. The head bobbing drives me nuts. I had to turn that off. Once you fix some of those things, and if you just type in Google controller config fix Redfall, it'll tell you the couple things to fix and makes it 100% way better and playable. After that, I didn't really have a problem with it. The enemies are kind of dumb. Like in many situations, they'll just be running back and forth in front of you. I will say that during the day, I can run around and not care about anything and pretty much kill everything in sight. Doesn't matter. I had fun killing vampires. I had fun killing the cultists, rescuing people, doing all kinds of stuff, taking over. Anyways, at night is a different story, because at night they were like, you know what? It's nighttime. Guess what? 500 vampires down a side street randomly. So I'm running around at night, minding my own business, trying to get to the spot. I run down this side street, and all of a sudden there's like 50 vampires down there. And the vampires are difficult sometimes, and there are different kinds, and they're whooping my ass.
You know how you can beat them, don't you?
Well, I do know how you can beat them, but
I hear if you stand on the other side of a car, they won't come at you.
I did not know that.
Yeah, no. I hear if you stand on the car.
But I'm gonna wrap it up with just saying this. I haven't deleted it. I'm gonna keep playing it. I'd like for other people to play it with me. I'm sure it will get better in the future with updates.
If you invite me, I'll play with you.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll think about it.
I'll reinstall it.
We're gonna block you, ban you.
Yeah. Don't block me. I've been before. And
I mean, the thing is, like, part of me wants to say, you know what? Technically, I kind of didn't really pay for it, you know. But remember, that's not a good excuse, because other people on the PlayStation and PC paid $70 for this, and people that don't have Xbox in different regions around the world paid upwards more than 70. So I don't think that's a fair cop out saying, "Oh, I do. Oh, it was on Game Pass. I don't have to pay. You know, I didn't pay for it." So
well, most of the people could buy Game Pass, so you know.
There are countries where Game Pass isn't available.
You're right. There are.
And there's also people on PC and people on PlayStation that
it came out for
$70.
PlayStation too. I didn't realize
it didn't. It didn't come out on PS5.
Oh, it didn't. Sorry.
No.
So people on PC and people in countries where Xbox isn't available had to pay $70.
Was it in Game Pass, PC Game Pass?
Yes.
Yeah, so you could pay $10 for that.
But you're not, you're missing the other countries that don't have Game Pass.
I understand there's other countries. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
there are other countries.
let's look at it realistically. I buy Game Pass so that I don't have to buy the AAA Microsoft titles for my Xbox, because I'm just going to get them for that yearly fee. And if those games aren't up to the AAA, I'm still feeling a little disappointed that I didn't, you know, there's clubs out there, and JC, you know that there's clubs out there you join and they tell you you're going to get great games, and then you don't get any games, you know, that are really good to play for 6 months if you're lucky. If this right here is you know, I haven't played it, but if this is an example of this, I could see people really being disappointed. Because how much is Game Pass now? $120 a year? Retail on Game Pass?
Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah, but wouldn't you be disappointed if you that was the first game you really got for 2023, and you're already like $30, you know, $30, $40 in for the month? That's where I agree with you. I think it has to be if it's supposed to be it's supposed to be a title, it should be an A title. Mm-hmm. So I'll play it. We'll have to come back to that once I play it.
But here's the other thing. People jump on board and buy the games as soon as they get it. If you're worried about getting a bad game, you should wait a month and hear the reviews and everything else. That's
true.
I mean, I hardly ever buy a game the first month, because you're just wasting your money when you know, with all these other people got to jump on board the first day and get a game.
I mean, you got Andre who buys the games first day.
Well, I mean, my son does that a lot too. And that's an issue. It's wait a week or something. Find out what the problems are. You know, I mean, nowadays they don't let a lot of companies review them early, so you should wait a week or two. And then a lot of times all them bugs are fixed after the first month anyway. I'm not going to say this one will ever have them all fixed, but I mean, you know, I think you got to think smart sometimes. You can't just jump out there and buy the first thing that's out on the market, and you're going to get burned.
Well, certain games are going to be hits. You know what I'm saying? Normally, like your Halo.
Well, look at Cyberpunk and look at some of the. I mean,
Look at
jump on board these
Crackdown
games.
3. Crackdown 3.
Well, we all kind of knew Cyberpunk was going to come out as a turd because it had been pushed back like 3 or 4 times.
And the same thing with Crackdown 3.
I mean, but there are good games that fail. What was I don't know what the PlayStation ones that come out that everybody's looking forward to and they bought and they said it wasn't that good a game. It just come out 2 months ago. I don't know what it was. I can't think of the name. But they were like saying that one kind of flopped. And so not that's why I'm big on waiting a couple weeks and seeing what everybody else says before I throw my money out there. But with Game Pass, I don't have to worry about a lot of that stuff.
The only game I'll buy this year launches. You guys see that they're doing a Crash Bandicoot, like Smash Brothers?
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Yeah. I mean, I'll wait. I'll see what the reviews are, and I'll get it on sale. But that looks like it could be a lot of fun, especially if it's online.
Look at Hogwarts. I'd love to get that game, but it's $70. I'm not paying it. I'm waiting until it comes down to like $40-$50, and then I'll buy it. I'm not,
It's on Game Pass.
Yeah, well, that too. So hopefully it'll be on there by the time I decide to spend money.
What, Andre?
Warner Brothers does put their stuff on Game Pass.
Yeah, they do.
Yep.
That's true. Maybe I should just wait. Then I won't spend any
put
money.
Gotham Knights on there. I'd like to. I play on it for the PC, but I don't have it for the Xbox.
But going back to Redfall, just for a minute, I know the indicator you put on the map of like some of the things. I know that doesn't always point exactly where things are.
It doesn't. No, and sometimes your missions go missing too.
Yeah, they do. Well, in other words, you can kill some of the monsters before the actual mission, or is it the opposite way around? I don't know if it's the prize is there first or you kill the monsters first.
There was one where I was in the movie theater. It's pretty early, and you're in the movie theater, and there's a certain thing that you have to find in there, and it was marked on my map. But when I got to the movie theater and went in and started killing monsters, I'm looking around. I'm like, wait a minute, where's my marker at for where this thing's at? It didn't tell me. Like it disappeared on me, and then I couldn't get it back. Like the whole mission was gone. Like when I went into my missions list, the mission was gone, and I never finished the mission because the lady vampire enemy in there that you're supposed to kill was still there.
I heard that has something to do with
Mission Impossible.
Well, I heard that's because you can do anything in any order. That's why really some of them were set that they had to be done in a certain order or something.
Yeah, I can see how. Yeah, I mean, if you go
that's
in,
what I think's broken.
You kill an area vampire boss before you, and that's supposed to be part of a mission. I could see that. Maybe that would break it. But hey, wait, real quick. I have a couple more games here. And speaking of vampires, this is a game that I actually originally had on the Xbox. This is my copy that I bought used from GameStop back in 2005 probably. This is Castlevania. Castlevania Curse of Darkness for the original
pretty
Xbox.
good.
I've been playing it again. I love this game.
That was really
I know
good.
people dump on the 3D Xbox 3D Castlevania games on PlayStation and Xbox, but this one's good. It's got a lot of RPG elements. You can upgrade all of your skills. You can add points. You get different weapons and stuff like that. It's got great music that totally fits the Castlevania game. And I paid $10 for it in 2005, but I still think you can find it pretty cheap. The rest of these are all original Xbox games, by the way. Next one's Arx Fatalis.
I think I had that one too.
This is a first-person, kind of like a Morrowind dungeon crawler where you are escaping a dungeon and you end up in like a castle and a fortress, and then you end up. It's a good game. You cast magic, you get new weapons, you get new armor. It's an RPG, first-person RPG there.
I didn't play it very much.
Next one, Terminator 3: Rise of the Machine.
That was a good game.
It is a good game. You can play through it pretty quick. I think I played through it in one day. There's a lot of movie scenes in it that they use, and there's also a lot of scenes that they recreated using the graphics, and I think they did a pretty good job. Now, as far as a first-person shooter goes, it's all right. I don't necessarily think that the mechanics hold up today. I could see how it was pretty good at the time, but I think just alone with the Terminator stuff, the music, and the game follows the movie storyline completely as well.
Don't hold that against it.
Yeah, well, that's where it's not bad. And the last one I got here is the Lord of the Rings: The Fellowship of the Ring on original Xbox. That's a really hard one to show you guys there. So this one's really cool. I just actually started playing it. Music's there. Obviously, it follows the story. You pretty much just go around as Frodo, Gandalf, and Aragorn, and fight enemies and collect stuff and do things that like you do in the movie. Um, but this was a weird time period for movie games because there were actually good movie games coming out in this
Shrek.
time period. Now, if you look at Shrek, now if you look at movie games prior to like this generation, like on the Super Nintendo, on the Genesis, on the Dreamcast and Saturn, they were bad. Like for the most part, fine.
Batman was good. Batman on the
There's
like one or two.
There's like one or two good Batman
Yeah.
games. There's one on the NES that was good, and then there was one on the Super Nintendo that was good.
And Genesis, same one was on the Genesis.
Yeah. Now there's another one that was on Genesis and Super Nintendo. They're just awful. I think it's Batman Returns.
Yep. Now the one that just called Batman. That was like I agree with what you're saying, except for that one game. Batman was freaking awesome.
So I have
good music,
and I think everybody's been seeing on Discord, but I have an entire stack of original Xbox games, and I still have a couple more coming. So I'll be talking about more next month. So
including Player Nay.
Oh yeah, we got a good Player Nay coming up.
Got to do a plug in there for Player Nay.
Yeah, next week definitely don't want to miss this one. So
yeah, this one's gonna be a lot of fun. Last time was Shrek. If you haven't watched it,
yeah, that was a funny episode. If you haven't watched Shrek, you should go back and watch it. But speaking of Shrek, we have our own resident Shrek impersonator, MC. What did you say?
Thanks, John. All right. Well, I'm going to start off with the oldest games I played first, and this goes back to my 150 GOG games I played and haven't bought and haven't played half of them. But I played King's Quest 1 on the PC. It's an adventure game, and I actually GOG had modernized it a teeny bit, which made it kind of nice and made it easier to play. But I'm reliving my childhood, and then a game I never played, and I always wanted to buy it when I was young, and I never bought it. The Dig. I don't know if you guys ever played The Dig. It was I think it was created by LucasArts, wasn't it? I think.
I don't remember it.
I could be mistaken, but it's an adventure game, and it's very, very well done. And I haven't played the whole thing, but I've played a number of hours of it. And I'm impressed for that era of game, how good the graphics were and how they did it. It's pretty good. And then now I'm going to move to basically the Xbox games I played, and I played a heck of a lot of them in the last month. I played the new Star Wars Jedi Survivor. My son actually bought it, so I played it.
Wow.
And I will say, everyone said how it's broken and everything else. Well, that's really on PC because I played a lot of it and I haven't seen any glitches whatsoever. My son has beat the game and he said it only crashed on him once through the whole game, and that's the only thing he found wrong with it. So you hear all that stuff out there about, oh, it's broken. Well, it's a lot of the PC ones now, and I'll explain to you later why that is, because there's a good Digital Foundry out there, episode 110, that explains why actually console games are coming out in better quality than PC games right now. So, but we'll get to that. The next one I played was Minecraft Legends. Now, I usually like strategy games, and it wasn't too bad, but I did not like the controls. The controls were kind of funky. And when you grabbed a bunch of guys to follow you and go fight, every once in a while they just after they killed them guys, they wouldn't follow you anymore. They just go off on their own, and that kind of that was a little I kind of thought that was kind of bad, and they need to kind of fix that a little better. But it's not a bad game. It's not really my type of game the way it's laid out, but especially the controls, I thought they were kind of terrible. But I guess if you remapped them, it might be a better game for you. I played Redfall, and I played a number of hours of it, and it's got a lot of problems. I do see the potential in it. More problems, I think, on multiplayer and PC than actually on single player Xbox. I mean, yes, there's not a lot in the world, but from what I hear, if you listen to that 110 Digital Foundry, they talk about it, and they actually say if you make it past 6 or 7 hours, the game gets harder. I mean, it's not so easy to kill the monsters and everything else, and not that it gets much better, but at least it's more competitive, and you don't have as dumb a monsters, and they seem to be, because they're different varieties of monsters, and some of them actually are better than the beginning monsters and that. And supposedly there's 2 maps. I don't know how, if anyone's ever made it. You look at the first map and it doesn't look that big, but I hear there's a second map to it. So if you've only played the first map, there's a lot more to play, I guess. So I don't know, but as they said, it seems like a game that needed to have another year of work on it, to be baked in the oven better. And then it might have potential. And then moving on from there, I don't know if anyone's played Ravenlock is out on Game Pass. And I think it's kind of an excellent little adventure game. You start as a little girl on a farm, they moved over their parents, and then it goes into like a fantasy world. I'm not going to say any more than that, but I think you should
A little
check
girl
it
on
out.
a fantasy is what you just said.
What's that?
You said a little girl on a fantasy.
Well, she goes into kind of like, how do I want to say it?
Well,
Alice in Wonderland. Kind of like
okay,
an Alice
yeah,
in-
okay,
That's what I'm kind of saying. It's a
Okay.
fantasy world like Alice in Wonderland.
okay, good.
Now I get this name wrong every time, and John isn't here at the moment. So Lamentum, I think it's called.
Wrong.
Sounds familiar.
Is that right, John? Lamentum.
It's Lamentum, yeah.
Okay. I think it's excellent. It's an excellent 8-bit horror adventure game.
Cool.
I think it's really cool. It's got some, for 8-bit, it's got some really cool stuff graphics wise, and it's got a good adventure to it. So I really like that one. I haven't finished any of these yet, but I'm pretty far in a lot of these. There's another one I've been playing. It's on Game Pass called Tuberbrook. It's a good adventure. I mean, it's not as good as I think Lamentum, but it isn't bad. And then this one I can never say the name. Shalenor or something. John, this Shalenor.
We talked about this right before we started. Shalnor.
Shalenor. Okay. Well, anyway, put these words where I can actually pronounce it.
If I can't pronounce the title, I don't know if I want to play the game.
Well, this one's like the Legend of Zelda. It actually is. It's like the old Legend of Zelda, and it's not bad. It's actually pretty fun.
Yeah, we should note that I think it was like we paid $2.99 for it on the Xbox.
Yeah, that was really cheap. Yeah, and then on Game Pass there's Peaky Blinders, Masterminds. It's a stealth strategy game. It's really not my type of game, but the graphics are kind of cool, and if that's your type of game, you might want to check into that. Also, in Games with Gold, your free game this last month has been Star Wars Episode 1 Racer.
Yes.
I played like 6 or 7 races in there and had a good time. And I actually think it for what it is, I actually think it's a good racing game.
Oh, I pulled it. What is it? Is it just the remake of the one that was out for like about 10 years ago?
Yeah, it is.
That's a fun game.
It's a fun game.
I had it for the Dreamcast.
Yeah,
I may have had it also for the N64, but I absolutely had it for the Dreamcast. It was a fun game.
Yeah. And then the last one here that I played was just a little bit of is The Last Case of Benedict's Fox, and it's also in Game Pass. And it's kind of like an adventure game. It's got too many puzzles for me, and kind of some of them are kind of hard to beat. Although in the beginning of the game, you can set everything up to, easily beat the puzzle, easily beat the bosses, because there is hand-to-hand combat in it too. So it's like an adventure. It's an action adventure. So you can set things really low to make it easier to beat. But it's actually I didn't set everything low, so it's actually a little difficult for me. So, but it's got some cool graphics in that, so people might want to check that out too. But that's the games I played. Now, the thing I wanted to kind of discuss is like, right now a lot of PC games are having a lot of problems. And listening to, and everyone should listen to it, because I don't know if I got everything right here, because I was trying to listen to it at lunchtime at work today and stuff. So I got interrupted a number of times. But Digital Foundry's talking about how a lot of these games were made in Unreal Engine 4. Is that what it is? I think, or whatever the engine is there. But what's happening is, I guess, when it exports, like, and the people are doing it for the console, so they're programming like for the console with dev kits and everything else and stuff like that. And when they export it out, oh, now I'm forgetting, the DirectX 12 that it puts it out in actually comes out with some errors in it, and they have to debug and everything else. So there's some issues there. So that's causing a lot of problems. And they're actually saying, like, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, a lot of them issues were caused because of that DirectX 12 that it was exported in and everything else. Wow. That's why actually the console version has hardly any, problems with it, whereas the PC version had a lot. And they're saying, a lot of these games, they picked that Unreal Engine 4 a long time ago. They started, because these games take 6 years. They all started developing in them. They can't just move to Unreal 5. So basically, they're kind of stuck with that engine, and they basically were saying, like, a lot of the difficulties with even the high resolution, some textures, some games they make, and then when they export it, they find an issue with it and they have to go back and redo textures. So that's why some of these games are taking so long, and they're having so many issues with, the PC version of it, and sometimes even, the console versions. So it's really good. People should go watch it. It is episode 110, I think. At least that's the way it was listed when I read it. The other thing that I heard can be problems too is the new consoles all have this new direct IO with the memory cards, your SD drives and all that. And I guess you have to do something different to program for PCs for that. So basically, you have to do multiple ways of programming, if you're going to have it on a console and a PC. So that's why some of these games are taking longer to make, and some are having more problems and stuff like that. So don't just think that, games are that easy to create today. You just put it on a console, you could just port it to a PC with no problems, or vice versa. It's not that easy. Right. So I don't know if that's what you guys have heard, but that's what I've been reading a lot about and seeing.
I mean, it's it's common sense, and I'm not a programmer really, so I'm not gonna like try to pretend to know what I'm talking about here. But I mean, you have all kinds of different combinations of PCs with different graphics cards, different drivers, different other hardware, different processors, other software running on it and stuff. Making games work across all of those different platforms is way different than just making it work on an Xbox when each Xbox is the same.
And one other thing I wanted to say was, everyone complained last year about Xbox not having games. So yeah, they hurry up and release your game Redfall, and you wonder why it's broken. Maybe you shouldn't cry about how long it takes to make a game, and just wait for the game to come out. Wait for the game to come out, and then see if it's any good. Yeah. Because that's all people do is complain. Where's the game? Oh, it's being delayed again. They're delaying it for good reason, to fix them. So just don't complain and wait for the game. And if the game's broken, you have every right to complain. But, that's what a lot of these people are doing. They're trying to release the games because everybody's complaining about them. And then they're half-baked. They're not done. So that's my complaint.
Don't complain, but I'm going to complain.
Don't complain.
That's right. Don't complain, but I'm complaining to you.
I'm complaining because you're complaining.
We should really call this like Techegy presents the complainers, because that's all we get done doing.
I'm always the complainer. I'm a good complainer. So
I just don't get invited, so I can't complain.
That's right.
Don't worry, you'll be invited.
You just don't know what night is Friday night. That's all.
Yeah, you know when Fridays are, right?
It's the day after Thursday, right?
Right.
Yeah, sometimes the day before Saturday. Yeah. Oh,
I mean,
by the way,
we started that way back on what were we playing? Tina Turner there.
Yeah,
we
Tina
played it on
Turner.
Friday night. Whatever happened to you guys? You guys disappeared.
yeah, everybody disappeared on me.
Well, there was nobody on for like 3 weeks in a row.
Andre never. We're on.
Well,
I'm on all the time.
We're on all the time. We did have a one or 2 weeks there we missed for I don't know what reasons happened, but there was
There it is. Look, he's even got it. There's Tina.
There was a time, but we still planned on doing it every Friday night.
We don't need another Andre.
I don't even think Andre never even added me as a friend on there.
No,
I did.
he's exclusive, man.
You're not in my friends list, Andre.
You disappeared.
I was sitting there one day because him and I were talking about it. I was like, where'd Andre go? I thought he was my friend on here, and I was like, oh,
You're
maybe
still in mine, Andre. So
maybe
don't worry.
Well, I was thinking, well, maybe he didn't add me because I remember when we first started playing Tiny Tina, we were just adding each other to the groups. I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe it just didn't get added.
Maybe that's what I did.
You probably
Wait,
had me.
Deleted me.
No.
Because you were using naughty words, and Andre just can't hear those things.
I understand. I apologize. Hey, quick reminder for everybody: Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild 2 comes out on Friday.
Yes, it does.
That's a good movie. And
I played the game today, by the way.
Legend of Zelda: Bad Breath comes out on Friday.
Yeah, Bad Breath 2.
Are you going to be playing Bad Breath, or are you going to be playing on the Xbox? It's Friday. See,
Well, I'm off there. I took Thursday and Friday off for a different reason, so I'll play it during the day, and then I'll be on Xbox in the evening.
okay, just making sure.
All right, one question for you guys, real quick. Is Madden? Oh, you can't even see this, can you? I got it. Well, anyway, it's Madden 2005 for the PlayStation 2. Is that any good of a Madden game? I got it for $2.
You probably get your $2 out of it.
Well, I mean, it's a football game. I mean,
it's an empty case.
Yeah,
no, it has a disc in it.
I mean, for $2, are you really going to complain?
No, but I was just wondering if it was any good of the Madden ones. I mean, there's one for every year, so some of them aren't good.
Well, it's with Madden, they really haven't changed them in the last 5.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, so I mean,
Well, that was 15 years. That was more than it's a long time ago. 2000.
So in that era, it would have been the same game.
You're right. Just different players.
Yeah, just whatever generation of the console it was. That's the only thing they really update those. I mean, like I said, you know how I feel about the NHL. This will be the first year I don't buy it day one.
Well, I stopped at a flea market because a friend wanted to, and I saw the game for $2. I was like, "What the heck?
It's $2."
You know, surprisingly, as many times as you've told us, I don't know why you don't like the NHL.
I just don't like it. It's.
I was being sarcastic. Sorry, I was sarcastic.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, they're like my Penguins. It looks like they just phoned it in.
Well, on that note,
stay tuned for a very good Player Nay later this month.
yes, I promise it's going to be good.
Yeah, I promise you're going to be laughing.
You'll at least get a laugh out of it.
And we'll get M2 before he's on his way to South Korea.
Yeah, good. Yeah, so hopefully
Wait,
he.
what?
Yeah, he's going to South
Korea.
Yeah, he's going to South Korea.
Yeah, he's going to be missing in action for a while.
He's going to be missing in action. We're trying to figure out if we can get him to come on a podcast from there.
Yeah, that would be great.
So you may have to get up at 2:00 in the morning, but
Hey, he whatever he's got to do, anything for the podcast, as long as the ends justify the means.
I'm saying you'll have to get up at 2:00.
I'm not doing anything. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. This is Games of the Month for April, technically, 2023. So as we here at Techegy Podcast always say,
stay nerdy, my friends.